وبه قال حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح قال حدثني موسى بن علي عن أبيه عن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله عنه قال عجبت من الرجل يفر من القدر وهو مواقعه ويرى القذاة في عين أخيه ويدع الجذع في عينه ويخرج الصغن من نفس أخيه ويخرج الضغن من نفس أخي ويدع الضغن في نفسه وما وضعت سري عند أحد فلمته على إفشائه وكيف ألومه وقد ضقت به ذرعا.
Sometimes as an individual, he sees a speck in the eye of his brother, but he overlooks something which is a massive stud, as is translated over here, in his own eyes. Sometimes an individual, and this is very common, it's very difficult to notice your own wrong and your own faults and your own problems and so on and so forth. And it's very, very easy to point a finger at someone else. And a believer is someone who is more conscious of his own flaws than he is of the flaws of other individuals. In fact, if he only thought about his own flaws, he would be in a state where he doesn't have time to think about the flaws of anyone else. He doesn't have time to think about the mistakes and the difficulties or the issues of other individuals. He's only conscious of himself. And the one who's always thinking about himself, he knows that even thinking wrongfully regarding someone else is also a mistake on my part. So he will avoid that as well. And he will try his hardest to make sure that he only thinks good and he has husnul dhan of other individuals. Sometimes, subhanAllah, there are such big issues that can come into existence simply because of misunderstandings that stem from su'ul dhan, from thinking regarding or on behalf of someone else, that they must have intended something bad, or they must have so and so. And these whispers, and shaitan enters them into the mind, and the person goes into these whispers and starts believing them eventually, without any clarification. That's why one of the most important things in relationships is communication. If there's misunderstanding, it's better to communicate and make sure that that misunderstanding is taken care of, or you get to the bottom of it, as opposed to leaving it as a misunderstanding, where one individual is thinking one thing and the other one is thinking something else, and then eventually it becomes a bigger deal than it actually has to be. One of the greatest reasons why there's issues that occur in relationships is su'ul dhan, misrepresenting the other person. And all of that can also stem from a lack of communication, which is the amount that should be communicated is not communicated, and then thereafter one person understands one thing, the other one understands a different, and they end up eventually distancing themselves simply out of not a valid reason, not a real reason, but simply out of the fact that they weren't able to communicate what they actually felt. Now, go on.